and the board accepted her resignation, and then that's when 2 days later, here comes the state police and the FBI.
See, I'm not interested just in the local aspect. This is a bum, okay? I'm interested how this whole atmosphere exists in the United States today. I ran into it at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going slowly down looking for a parking place because they're resurfacing over on Alpine, and you can't find a place to park. So I'm going slow.
Yeah.
So his car drives up alongside of me. What can we do for you? That's why I'm just looking for a parking place. Well, you know, there's some over there. Real gruff. I go, do you work for the store? No, we're volunteers. We're volunteers. I've also ran into them at Menards, where I go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in Wyoming, they have an actual car that has a sign on the side. They're volunteers, Wyoming volunteers. And usually, there are some crusty old conservative, I can tell you that, just looking at them, that gets off with a little bit of power.
Uh-huh.
And so when you can sell a little bit of power for $1,000 and some dollars, these people line up for it. That's where we live today. Everybody wants to rule over somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Let me continue the story here real quick. Prosecutors argued Resnick used his chief's position to obtain reduced prices on firearms, ammunition, and other equipment from suppliers in and out of Michigan and resold the merchandise to reserve officers, sales he profited from and did not report to the IRS.
Wow.
An investigation into the department uncovered about 120 people were kept on as reserve officers, including prominent Detroit business leaders and celebrities like entertainer Kid Rock and then Miami Dolphin Jason Fox. Oakley is a village of about 290 residents as of the 2010 census. Yeah, the defense attorney wanted his client to have probation.
Resnick.
Yeah.
Wonder if he's any relation to the Resnick that owns Palm Industries.
I don't know. Let me read this for you here. This is his defense attorney, and his defense attorney's name is Mark Krieger. This is a direct quote. For 60 years he has lived an unblemished life. I think he is the quintessential defendant who deserves probation. End of quote.
Quintessential. Hey, maybe him and Inman can get a cell together.
Speaking directly to the judge, Resnick said that he was humbled, contrite, ashamed, embarrassed, humiliated, and completely remorseful. Again, that is a direct quote.
You forgot caught.
Exactly.
C-A-U-G-H-T.
Exactly. He said that if he could turn back the hands of time, he would. Though he cannot, he said he can affect his future. Quote, "You need not worry about my resolve to never again break the law. This has left an indelible mark on me, Judge. I'll forever live with the shame and knowledge of being a convicted felon."
How many hours the attorney took to compose that BS?
Yeah. Let me continue. Resnick said he used terrible judgment regarding the reserve program, but all the money from it went to the village. What? When he's sold all this and didn't report the proceeds to the IRS, and he says that all the money went to the village? Yeah, it was a Ponzi. The money went to the village for the donations, but then he used that money to buy this extra ammunition and firearms and then sell them to the reservists.
Evidently, the treasurer knew about this. Did they go after her, too?
I don't think they did. Let me read this here. Adding that he regretted that he hadn't better managed the program, Resnick continued, quote, "This in no way excuses that I broke the law. Basically, it got out of control." End of quote.
Basically. Yeah. These kind of phonies
now,
are all too common.
Let me continue. Judge Ludington asked him how he managed to exclude the revenue from his gun sales from the IRS. Resnick's reply, quote, "I didn't want to leave a paper trail." End of quote.
Don't need those trails.
I wonder why.
Those trails they clutter the road.
The judge then asked him how he managed to recruit about 120 people for the program. Resnick replied people who joined would bring along friends. Quote, "In my opinion, the village needed the money." End of quote. He forgot to add, "so that I could take it from the village and stick it in my pocket."
So I see a kit. It was a whole kit he was selling. You get a little tin badge, right?
This is a legit badge.
Obviously it's a legit badge.
With a bulletproof vest?
Little boys. When I was a kid, you mail in the box top off of Cheerios. You got a tin badge, a decoder ring. No, what was it? In Christmas, remember the guy mailed in, the little boy? What'd you get? Yeah, it's the same. Red
Ryder BB gun.
There you go.
Yeah.
For $1,000. It's brilliant.
Oh, my gosh. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christopher Rawsthorne said Resnick should be held to a higher standard than the average defendant because of his police officer status. He said Resnick used a position of public trust to profit, then deliberately didn't report those profits to the IRS. He added the role of a police force is to protect and serve, not raise money. Oh, is that really the case?
Way too old-fashioned.
Wow. Oakley board members voted in November 2017 not to renew Resnick's contract and those of 5 other part-time officers. That only left the department with 1 officer. It's a town of 290 people. Why can't the Saginaw County Sheriff's Department cover them?
We live
I don't know.
in a militaristic police state. Mine.
I guess
People
we do.
love to wear that gun into Burger King and flash it.
Yeah.
So if you can get one legally and wear it around,
Yeah.
with the badge on top of it, that's worth big bucks.
Oh, of course it is. Yep, so I just wanted to mention that story because I got to meet one of the bar owners. But like I said, he's now a former bar owner. They just sold the bar this year and got the hell out of Oakley. He says he's done doing politics. He was telling me that his blood pressure, the top number was close to 300 and the bottom number was close to 200. And they said,
close to the cemetery.
And they said, what's going on? We can't find anything wrong with you physically. Why is your blood pressure so high? How's your life at home? He says, don't ask. That was a direct quote to him. Don't ask how things are. They wanted to put him on some sort of depression medicine, Risperdal, I think, something, to get his blood pressure down.
Deeper corruption than these small little bodies of government.
I tell you what, if I ever run into this guy again, I'm going to ask him to come on the show, and we'll do a special show.
Sure.
We'll do it for our Patreon members. He can give you the whole scoop, and then he can cuss too, because then I don't have to edit him. Because he was cussing up a storm yesterday, telling me about this. I couldn't believe it. It was like, yeah, I know who you are. I've heard about the things you did over in Oakley.
No, the local politics, all politics is local, and all local politics are corrupt. I'll tell you what. Their power structures are family-orientated. We can go on and on.
You're starting to sound like Joe Elder with all politics is local. Because he used to say that on the show all the time.
Well, great minds think alike. But, I came from some small towns, and I know how the power systems really worked. I know the lies that were told and the people that backed them up. And they all go to the country club together, and nobody knows the difference. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows, for example, I don't want to lead with this, about Sherry DeVos giving money clandestinely to Grand Rapids Public Schools into the tunes of millions of dollars. Well, we can't fix the heat in the buildings. I think the number one thing we have to realize is if you're not involved, you're getting screwed. If you're not in there fighting for justice locally, nationally, somebody else is taking advantage of you. While you're looking at that, can we open up the can of worms? Down south in the Amazon, where Captain Chainsaw. Do you know who Captain Chainsaw is? That's a nickname for the president of Brazil.
Oh, Bolsonaro?
Who quoted one time, told people that that's the nickname he wanted, Captain Chainsaw. Chainsaw as in cutting down the rainforest. Now, why would a guy want to cut down the rainforest? Well, as we get news that our hero, Greta Thunberg, has arrived in New York City.
Greta Thunberg.
Unlike Miss Thunberg, Mr. Bazanorris has his head up where there really is no sunlight. And that head in that position has led him to make alliances with GOP lobbyists who've helped Brazil recruit U.S. companies to exploit the Amazon. What do you mean by exploit? What we mean is instead of letting indigenous people free to have thousands of square miles to live in and oxygen pouring out to supply the lungs for the world, you're going to make more money building plants, tearing down, burning trees, removing their oak or their base, and then grazing cows. The cattle industry is giving the politicians in Brazil, like they do here, huge kickbacks to get some more grazing land.
And so is the mining industry.
And so is the mining. Brazil is the number one beef exporter in the world. Well, Bolsonaro's Bolsonaro has made disastrous policies that are resulting in this fire. Don't buy the bull that it was lightning or, he said...
No, let's just tell it like it is. Several weeks ago, a judge sided with the native Amazonians, the native indigenous people there, that the Amazon needed to be protected. He put 500,000 acres under protection. 2 weeks later, these fires start. They were arson. They certainly were. Let's just call it what it was. It was a crime, arson.
The fires in the Amazon are intentional, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a forest fire type situation. It's an intentional setting ablaze of the forest by the fascist Brazilian government plus agribusiness, ranching oligarchs, and, as you said, mining interests. Don't hide who is doing this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't blame it on anybody other than the conservative leadership that this buddy of Trump is performing. Mm-hmm. There in Brazil. The UN offered him $22 million. Darren and I talked on phone this week because there was a post out from Fox News, of all places. How amazing.
Yeah.
That said, the pictures they're using to promote the fire tragedy down in the Amazon, they're all fake. There's the word fake. Thank you, Donald. They're fake. They came from a fire out west 30 years or whatever. And so when all these celebrities like Madonna and Leonardo are all coming saying that you got to stop eating burgers, you got to realize what's going on there is for the cattle industry, and they're trying to denigrate that by claiming those photos were false. So Darren and I responded, false? They may be false. Who cares? Is there a fire you can see from space? Yeah. Is the United Nations fooled there's no fire and they want to give $22 million for an imaginary fire? Laughable. It's real. The crisis is real. Whether they use a fake picture or not is absolutely, unbelievably inconsequential.
Brazil's Aeronautics Administration, the own government, the portion of the Brazil government that deals with the aeronautics program, called out the president of the country and said he was lying about the Amazon. They've got the proof. Don't just take our word for it. Plenty of other shows on Pacifica are talking about this. The Bradcast with Brad Freeman's talking about this. Sojourner Truth with Margaret Prescott is talking about this. Shortwave Radio Report is talking about this.
Yeah.
There's boots on the ground. Democracy Now! Has interviewed people that are in Brazil that are near this fire.
Yeah. It's a global media accounting, empirical record of this fire. And people are running around but taking conservative news agencies believing, well, it's a fake picture, so it can't be real. You've quoted Bill McKibben before.
Actually, that was not a Fox News story that you're referencing. It was Forbes,
okay.
But it's still the same thing.
Too.
Oh, you saw it on Fox too?
Okay. On Fox. You know McKibben. We like McKibben. Mm-hmm. He goes, it's not often you can pinpoint one person as a culprit for something on this scale. But the midday darkness is in the Amazon is a direct result of the election of Jair Bolsonaro to the country's presidency last year. Bolsonaro, who has told people supposedly, ironically, to call him Captain Chainsaw, campaigned on the theory that his country's economic development had been limited by the world's affection for the Amazon. And he made it clear that those who wanted to cut it down had little to fear from his administration.
Where are you reading this from?
I'm reading this right from Common Dreams.
Yep.
He even fired the head of the federal agency tasked with monitoring the satellite, or by satellite, where you can see this fire, the extent of deforestation when he found that deforestation was increasing. You can take one personality in government, Darren, and blame him for that fire. You can do that. You don't have to hide behind all these people. Oh, you can take Donald Trump and say these racist shootings, these racist attacks across this country, you can trace it right straight to the orange buffoon's desk. You can do that. And that's not hyperbole. That's not extremism in any way.
And you can take these Amazon fires and you can line it up directly to Bolsonaro.
Who's a friend with who?
Donald Trump.
You got it.
He's basically Brazil's version of Trump.
Yep.
By the way, I heard a new name for Trump this week, the Tang Terror. I kind of like that one. That's pretty good. I don't have to bleep it.
Why wouldn't you take $22 million? You want to know why? They don't want to fight the fire.
No, they don't. You know who's sending in supplies to bring the fire under control? Mexico.